Alright guys, hope you're doing well. This is Rowlands here. I'm a nutritional balancing practitioner. And in this video I want to talk about something interesting because it caught me by surprise a few years into the program until I realised what was going off. And basically what I'm going to talk about today is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So when I first began the program, I had physiological needs, as most people do when they're starting the program. They are basically at the bottom of this Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I wasn't really aware of the hierarchy of needs too much, and I think one of the reasons being is that when you are in a position of extreme ill health, you can only think about the first step of the pyramid, and the first step of the pyramid is physiological needs. So that's health, air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, reproduction. Reproduction was not in there, but the basics of life is what you can only focus on. A lot of this, I think, is down to energy as well. As your energy level becomes higher and higher, these other needs begin to creep into your psyche that you need to deal with. And I think it's also part of development as well, is the more nourishment that you get, the more toxins you get out the system, the higher the frequency of the body gets. And not only do you go past the sort of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but you go into this other stages of development that's written on Dr. Wilson's website, where you can just go up and up and up and up and up. So these poor people in other countries that are struggling with famine and war and all that sort of stuff, they're only thinking about the physiological needs: air, water, food, shelter. And that's what I was thinking about 9 years ago when I first began the program. Is healing, is a roof over my head, where can I get my water from, where can I get my food from. It was the main thing that was on my mind. And then as I started to get healthier, things started to creep into my psyche that I wasn't really prepared for. And I think this is really the reason why I'm doing this video, is to give people a bit of an understanding of sort of what's potentially to come in the future. Because, like I say, it did actually take me by surprise. So after a while, when my health started to improve, different needs started to come into my life. The next one up is safety needs: personal security, employment, resources, health, and property. I put health down on the physiological needs as well, because people are so sick. But as you start to get a little bit healthier, the next thing that you start to think about is sort of finance, employment. Not really so much about mission and purpose, just how can I get the money that I need to be able to fund my physiological needs. Another thing that starts to creep in more is how can I set up my environment whereby I'm safe, whereby I can actually heal and do the program and keep moving forwards. So things like maybe family or deep close friends, it wasn't really at the forefront of my mind because I was so sick. All I could think about after I'd started to get myself on the healing the healing journey, was where can I get my money from? What's my employment going to be? Can I get myself in an environment? So this time on my timeline, we're in Thailand at this point. So I'd moved to Thailand. I'd first started the program at university, and I had finances, so it wasn't too bad. So I could focus on my physiological needs, focus on the program, focus on water, food, etc. And then when I moved to Thailand, I started to heal, and I did have some funds. But I started to run out of funds, and then I was thinking, right, I can't move back home. I need to get myself in an environment where I feel safe, I've got security, etc. And that's where luckily I came across Robert Morgan, who unfortunately passed away recently with a road accident, but that's another thing. He offered me a job helping him in his nutritional balancing practice, and I had safety, I had a house, I had money coming in. Brilliant. So a few years down the line, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, all of these layers creep in one another. I started to get a real need to belong to a group of close friends. It was something that I couldn't deny anymore. And this was what I mean by a real shock, is that I just thought if I could heal myself, I would be happy. And that's not the case. You end up going through these needs, these hierarchy of needs. And obviously I was wanting love and connection when I was really sick, but it wasn't at the forefront of my mind per se. After a while it became the forefront of my mind. I couldn't move forward without me delving into the world of close friendships, intimacy, family, sense of connection. And that happened to me, I would say, around 4 years into the program, 5 years into the program, 2015, 2016, when I really had to start going out, or I would drive myself insane. It was really confusing at the time, because I was thinking, why aren't I feeling happy? Like, I've been doing the program for 5 years, I'm feeling much better, my health's much better. Like, why am I not feeling happy? And it was just something else to deal with. Like, I've got to go and find close connections. So that's when I started to get into the sort of spiritual scene in my city. I went to various dances, I went to various events, and over I was ended up being in a relationship. I finally had some energy, some consistent energy to be in a relationship, which was really nice. And I did end up forming deep bonds with friends. I learned a lot about relationships, and that consumed my life somewhat. 2015, for the next 2 or 3 years, I learned a lot about the New Age community. I learned a lot about shadow side to friendships and communities. I learned, a lot about energy vampires, relationships. I had a couple of relationships in that 3 year period from 2014-15 to 17, 18, and that was the love and belonging block for me. And while I'm in that period, I'm learning about friends, I'm learning about close connections, I'm learning about family, tribe, and then I'm building obviously my business, my nutritional balancing business, which is sort of the safety needs. At the same time, my health is improving. So these sort of hierarchy of needs compound on top of one another. And after a while, I'd sort of peeked through this next layer, whereby I'd got myself into a stable relationship. I realized quickly how damaging relationships can be, even with a good person, if someone's taking energy from you. I learned about who your friends really are. Do you know what I mean? I learned about the shadow side to the New Age community, which is, you've got to be aware of that, or it sucks you in and it'll spit you out. And then I was at like this new stage of esteem. So esteem is respect, self-esteem, status, recognition, strength, and freedom. So this is really just about compounding on top of itself the lower 3 levels, building building a more solid business, building my web design business, feeling very safe, secure, having good self-esteem because I'd got all of these areas balanced out in my life, feeling more solid, more freedom, because I'm more financially free. On a wisdom level, I felt free because I knew a lot of things that could hold you back in life, and that improves self-esteem, respect from people, because they can see that you've sort of developed, to this fairly high level of knowledge and health and finance, and you know, people. So you get this good, healthy recognition, respect feeling, and that's when things start to really smooth out, when you get to this esteem level, in my opinion. And then, so that was sort of, you know, 2018, 2019, and now 2020. After a while, once you start being on that esteem level for a couple of years, for me anyway, 2 years, whereby you're building your business, you're making your friends more balanced, you're getting recognized, you know, on this good level, you start to question, well, what's life all about? I mean, you're always questioning that, but it gets to a point where you fixed all of these things: physiological, safety, personal, finance, emotions, family. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, all these things are really well balanced, and then you start to think to yourself, well, what's life about? What's the point? What am I going to? And then that's where the next step comes in, is self-actualization. And I think this is when you're really on a deep path of development, when you can get to the self-actualization stage. So self-actualization here is the desire to become the most that one can be. And I started to get these feelings of what we're doing. And if you look at life really is about growth, is about becoming more complex, is about building, is about improving. You know, there's a interesting book that I talk about called Flow, The Secret to Happiness, or Guide to Happiness. It's a classic, and it talks about how enjoyment and happiness is basically, you can chart it out on a graph. So if you have a graph of challenge and skill, and you can get into this sort of flow state of more complexity. So I'll give you an example. You know, the things that you should be sort of striving for in life is projects and careers that not only provide you with a good challenge, but they also have connected with your skill level. If you have a lot of challenge and low skill, that's anxiety. You can't do the challenge. You can't, you know, overcome the problem in life. And if you have a project that's high skill, low challenge, it gets boring because it's not challenging. You know what I mean? You can do the job. You know, so always be thinking about how to improve. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm wanting to build hair analysis apps. You know, I'm wanting to build an online school, improve YouTube videos, you know, get better at building more complex websites for people. At the same time, improving my health more, you know, improving my finances. It's all growth, it's all self-actualization, it's all a desire to become the most that one can be. So that is it for this video. I want to keep it sort of short and sweet. I know I have a tendency to waffle on a little bit. I'm trying to stop that. So yeah, I want you to be aware of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I've left a link to this particular website on the description, and that's it. You know, if you want to start a nutritional balancing program, which I believe thrusts you forward in this quicker than anything, and don't feel anxious if you get these other feelings. See it as a good sign. I got anxious when oh my god, I need to find love and friendship. You know what I mean? Oh my god, I need to find purpose and mission. Like, it's just another headache. And then I realised it was actually part of the design of a human being, which made me feel much better about things. So, hope you enjoyed that video, guys. Thanks for watching. If you want to get in touch with me, just email Lewis, Lewis, at deephealingspace.com. Apart from that, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you soon.